Hey, I'm Kay, the founder of KayMarieFashion, and today we're going to finish my birthday. There's so much music. Hold on a second. Oh, we're making mistakes. Um, okay. I think I fixed it. Yeah, so the technical difficulty was my waiting room music would not stop. So maybe I won't use the waiting room anymore. I don't really know how to fix that. But hi, I'm KayMarie. You can call me Kay, and I am the founder of KayMarieFashion. I'm a crochet fashion house. Today we are using, I don't even think you can see this. It's a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. We're using 100% acrylic yarn, some of which is Big Twist because Joann's is my spot to shop. In part one, we worked on the whip stitch to join the top crown to the side crown. So we whip stitched this white granny row to the rest of the piece, and today we are starting to finish the side of our hat. I started on the purple granny stitch going down the side of the crown. So my idea for the color scheme is 3 rows of black, 3 rows of white, 3 rows of purple, 3 rows of each color. I'm not really sure how many rows I'm going to need to do to finish the side crown. I'm kind of making and testing this pattern as I go along. So just come along with me. We're going to complete this granny stitch, and also let me know if this angle is a bit too awkward. Oh, hey Big John, what's up? Thanks for tuning in again. Yeah, so we're still finishing this bucket hat. Well, since I did not finish it before Friday and the person is not available during the weekend, technically now I have the whole weekend to finish it. But that means we are not going to reach our goal of finishing an order within the week we receive it. So that's okay. We're going to stay on the course and get this done. So yeah, hopefully you can see me okay, that this isn't like too much of an awkward angle. As you can see tonight, we're not using the cell phone camera. I mean, it was so shaky last time. You know, it's probably better that we don't use it this time until we figure out why it was shaking, because I did not run any tech tests or anything to figure out. But yeah, the plan for this row is just to complete the granny stitch all the way around, and we should have, I guess, 20 bunches of 3 double crochet like around the row. So we're doing 3 double crochet in each single crochet space. Let me try to show you. In each single crochet space, we're doing 3 double crochet, and then we're chaining 1 so that in the following row we can repeat the pattern. So we're going to keep a total of 60 stitches through the rows until we're ready to make the brim. Like I said, I'm not really sure how many rows it's going to take before the side of the hat is complete. I'm definitely thinking it's going to take at least 3 rows of purple, which are ideal because I think that would look nice. I chose the Ravens colors because this person ordered Ravens colors for the hat. And I was kind of thinking, well, this is kind of an easy pattern to do and make in football colors, especially since football season is getting started. So I was thinking maybe I could try to make this hat in other colors for anybody else who is a football fan. But yeah, also after I started making this granny hat, I kind of started thinking about the fact that the assignment was to make um a granny square bucket hat, and I kind of started thinking, oh wait a minute, like did they mean a hat made with the granny stitch, or did they mean literal granny squares put together to make a hat? Because what I'm making is a hat with the granny stitch, but I'm sure you've already seen the popular hats of granny squares sewn together to make a hat. Now, a lot of times when I see these hats, they look like squares. The shape is a square. I guess you could say it is technically a bucket hat, not a cloche. But when they're on, they look like a beanie or they have a bell shape. And the point of me making this hat with the way I have is so that it doesn't have that bell shape. So I'm not really sure if I would have had to figure out how to make the bucket hat in a way where it still had the bucket shape. But I'm still interested in making granny square hats. Like I did make a really cute like plaid granny square, and I think putting that together to make like just making like 4 more of those. I think it takes 5 granny squares to make a hat. 1 for the crown and 4 for the sides. I think I could make a cute hat from that pattern. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the granny square. I mean, it's cute, but I think I just hadn't made it because I don't know. I just hadn't started out my crochet career making granny squares. I know a lot of people get started with that first because, granny squares are like mini projects within themselves. You can make so many of them. They can be so pretty. You can sew them together to make blankets. You can make sweaters. Like they're a good base for a lot of other projects. And they can be very complicated. I mean, don't get it twisted. Yes, there are some simple granny squares, but they can become very complex. You can use intarsia technique, tapestry crochet. You can use a lot of color changes with the granny squares. And also it's important to maintain your tension with granny squares as well. Otherwise you may not end up with a square. You can end up with something that looks a little more circular. So there's definitely technique to making a granny square. Yes, it's simple enough to do. You can learn it. You can be self-taught. However, there are levels to it like anything else. And you can, make a very simple one, or you can try to make a very difficult one. But it does take technique to make a good granny square. One thing I haven't done with my crochet projects that I've seen other people doing, especially with the granny squares, is blocking. And blocking, I think, is when you like wash or rinse your yarn. You treat your project. You treat it so that it's like sized and shaped correctly when you give it away or start using it. Like people typically, I guess, wet their granny squares and they stretch them and let them dry in the stretch shape so that the squares are actually true to shape before they sew them together. So that was something I hadn't heard about really until I got on TikTok. And another thing I learned about was people putting their crochet projects to a flame before they sell them. That kind of gets rid of all of the fuzzies. Now that's something I learned in Girl Scouts. I don't even remember the project we made. We made something with a ribbon on it and we put fire at the end of the ribbon to like melt it and give it I guess a prettier effect. But with crochet, what you can do is, hold on a second, I have to count my stitches. Of course, we're at the point of the program where I must count. So let me take this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so we're on bunch number 20. So we need to finish this, and then I'll show you the completed row and how we finished off our whip stitch. So, okay, this is how I've been doing this part. Instead of just like doing a slip stitch through, I've kind of just been, I don't know, pulling the last loop through the first loop of the first stitch in the row to sort of try to fake a straight seam. I don't know if it's working or not. But yeah. So great. Let me show you what I've done. I'm gonna have to rewatch this video back to see how good or bad the angle is. Okay, so this is how the, okay, this is actually the inside of the hat. Let's turn it on the right side. This is the right side of the hat. And right now it looks like it has a bell shape because it's so, you know, small. But I think when the sides are longer, it's going to be more obviously a bucket. And one idea I definitely had was to take gold yarn and go over the whip stitch we made around the crown seam. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I did think about making this white whip stitch gold instead of white because the color for the ravens are gold, purple, white, and black. So I thought the gold would be a nice accent, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for like a clean, seamless look or if I wanted to accent it. But just because this whip stitch is here, that doesn't mean we can't do like a crochet overlay and sort of put the gold on top and still make it stand out. So yeah, this is the hat so far. And I also feel like doubling up on this seam will make the line here sturdier and it will help it hold its shape. The thing about like these crochet materials, especially soft things like acrylic and cotton, is that they're just not good at holding shape. Like if you want something that's going to hold a shape, you have to use like harder materials. You have to use a cord like macrame or raffia. The raffia thread is what they use to make sun hats, like that string hay, like stuff like that is really good naturally at holding shape. But things like acrylic and cotton are just soft and often, you know, fall limp. So it may not be a bad idea at the end of this just to reinforce the top seam. But I'll have to see how it looks at the very end of the process. Now, what I want to show you is, you know, here you can see we have our seam for our hat. But also, this is where I ended the whip stitch. So on the inside, all I did was, well, there are a lot of strings here, but all I did was bring the whip stitch end from the left and the right, pull them together and tied a knot. And then these two, this is actually where one row begins and another row ends. I didn't sew that together. I joined that together when I started my purple row. So you can kind of see the little awkward, well, it's not completely awkward. It is secure, but you can see this little joining here of bringing the stitches together. And then on the front side, the right side, you know, it's not as obvious, which is exactly what we want. We don't want that to be glaringly obvious. And then I just continue to crochet along the sides as normal. So, yeah, back to crocheting on the right side of our hat. We're just going to repeat the first purple row. We're going to repeat it on another side, I guess. Ooh, oh wait, this is what's wrong. I have to bring my yarn around. So in order to do this, what we have to do is we have to get our way over to the opening. So to do that, we're going to slip stitch over 1, 2, 3. Okay, we've slip stitched in, and now we're just going to chain 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochet in the space like we've been doing, like all around for the first row. And we're just going to keep repeating this process until the purple runs out. And when the purple runs out, I'll probably go to sleep. It's not going to be a situation of my iPad is dying tonight, because I actually charged my iPad last night because y'all already know it was about to die. But I mean, I know I said this is not a tutorial channel. It's not a tutorial channel. It will not ever be a tutorial channel. The closest you'll get to a tutorial from me is going to be these live streams when I'm showing you what I'm doing, or you may get a demonstration of me wearing the stuff I made. I should actually make more videos like of myself wearing my stuff. That may help people to like know about what I do. Actually, here's something exciting. Don't know who, but people actually saw my scarf on Pinterest, and that's very nice. No one purchased. I will be sure to announce my first sale online. But I got a couple views on Pinterest, and I'm pretty excited about that because I wasn't expecting it. I still have a couple Kamala Harris t-shirts to design. I also design shirts like for a client, their towing company. So I guess I do a lot of design. Somehow, some way along the way, design has become my specialty. But honestly, I'm not a good illustrator. I think I could be a good illustrator. But, you know, drawing is one of those things that takes practice. Like wherever you leave off with your drawing skill, that's kind of like where you get stuck forever unless you get better. So I feel I stopped practicing drawing in middle school. So my drawing ability is still at a middle school level. And now whenever I draw, it's just a sketch for myself. I don't really think I'll ever, you know, make a cartoon or anything. I mean, one thing I am pretty good at doing is, I guess, tracing. And I'm trying to get better at coloring, like digitally. Digital coloring. That's a skill that I actually just started learning as an adult. Like when I was in school, we had iPads, but we didn't do art on our iPads. Like the the art teacher taught more traditional mediums for, or I mean, I think she did allow you to sketch and like put out ideas like on your iPad, but your actual projects were usually like, you know, on paper or whatever materials they had in the art room for you to work with. So, but maybe now they have things like graphic design class, but where I went to high school, they didn't really have anything like that. I mean, you could make things like presentations on your iPad, but that wasn't really art. I mean, I think they had a photography class or a Photoshop class, but that was the closest you could get. And also at that time, I don't think I had time left to really take that. I had already, started like with Art 1 or something, and I didn't want to like take time out to do another art class when I could do other things that I guess interested me more at the time. But I did take a Photoshop class in college. I think that was useful, and I have taken like video editing classes in college. I haven't ever taken like video animation. That's sort of a different ballpark, but I'm not even sure that's something I want to get into because that stuff is so tedious. So you hear how I'm talking about. I'm probably not the person to ask for any like digital graphics. Like the graphics I use and make are pre-made things, or like I can do very basic things on like Canva. And I think I could make my own graphics if there was something specific that I needed. But in terms of like pursuing that as a hobby or like a career, no. I definitely don't want to commit the time to that. Oh, I think I spoke on here about getting my certification. So my certification course has started. As you know, it's back to school season, literally. Some people have already been in school for weeks, but not my state. We're still a little bit normal. We send people back typically like the last week of August, some the first week of September. I mean, in college, of course, especially if you're an athlete, you may go back in the middle of July, like for training. But like for school here in Maryland, it still starts like the end of August, beginning of September. And yeah, my certification started last week, but it's a self-paced, asynchronous process. So I just have to make sure I finish it. I think the deadline is November. Like the middle of November is when I have to have it finished. So far it's pretty interesting. I just started, so I'm still learning, I guess, more of what it is. Like the beginning is introductory material, but I'm still interested. I was even thinking about going to like an event, an audio video events convention to, get more information and get more involved in the field, like see what's in that real world. Okay, so we just joined our stitches again. Now, technically, we just finished the second row of purple, so I can show you again how it looks. It's not going to look much different, but frankly, I'm curious. Like, I want to see how it looks. I think the camera is a little too close for you to see the actual shape. Me sitting at my desk, like a little ways away, I can see it better. But you know what? I'm always going to post the finished product on my social media. So definitely follow me on social media to see the finished product. But so far, so good. It's definitely got that traditional bucket shape so far. Yeah, I can't really put it at a good spot So you can see, oh, this is kind of a good spot. Yeah, it's got that bucket shape, which is what we wanted. That's what we're working so hard for. That bucket shape. Okay. Now let's bring the yarn around. And we're going to start on our next row. So we're going to slip stitch into the next 3 spaces, and then we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to start our half double crochets all over again. Okay, after this 3rd purple row, I'm probably gonna relax. Like, I hate to record myself being lazy, but I did go to work today, and I actually feel really proud of myself for still getting on this stream, connecting with you, working on this hat. Yeah, it's been real. It's been really good. A part of the reason why it's this funny like angle for our live stream is that I did not feel like going into my regular studio and setting up all my stuff like I usually do. It was just easier to do it at my desk. But you know what? You do what you must to just get it done. You know, we are fighting to be consistent. I feel it's very easy for me to have a lot of ideas and, you know, look at inspiration and buy a bunch of yarn, but actually crocheting is something that I need to do more of. Like, if I crochet more, I'll make more stuff. I'll have more product and I'll have the inventory I'm seeking to create so that I can have a store and make sales. So that's pretty big. And I still have a deadline to meet with my hat collection. My hat collection, 5 hats being released on September 18th. Definitely follow to get updates on that. But I have 5 original designs that I made. This is a special design and a special order. And this can be ordered. This actual hat will be available to order through the fall season, and I'll probably release the pattern for the winter season, and probably by the time winter comes along, I'll be making and taking orders for other things. I may take this hat out of the rotation. It depends on how popular it gets, honestly. But my idea is, in between collections, I would like to release special pieces. And I'm considering this a special limited edition piece. The things in my collections, I'm not likely to release a pattern for. I mean, unless it's highly requested, I guess. I kind of have to get further into my business and running it to see like what the outcome is going to be for like my product availability. Of course, once again, it's easy to have a bunch of ideas, but it's harder to actually do them and, you know, see the vision through. So some of this stuff is going to be cross that bridge when you get there. Today at work, I kind of started thinking, I wish I were better at making friends, because people were kind of walking past my studio and like not saying, hey, maybe they just didn't want to distract me, but also, I don't know. It just makes me paranoid. Like, maybe I have a bad reputation of like being annoying or asking too many questions, or I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like an annoying freshman at work. But I'm trying not to focus on that as much and just trying to keep my confidence and grow and, you know, follow my goals. Like, everything isn't really about me. Like, people's responses, you know, a lot of the times have more to do with who they are, what they're doing, and what they're going through than like you or the outside forces, I suppose. Yep. So Wow, I feel like we did these purple rose pretty quick. This pattern is really quick and easy. This is a good one. And I kind of understand why people like the granny stitch so much, because it's like a thick mesh stitch, you know. It doesn't take a lot of stitches to make a lot of progress. Even if you have like a smaller weight yarn. So yeah. I've been looking at crochet books for different types of stitches, and I am definitely interested in mesh. I think crochet mesh looks so pretty. I would like to make more of that. Like, I did want to make a swimsuit dress for the summer. I guess I'll have to make it for next summer. Maybe that'll be more popular next summer. I have been looking at YouTube videos of other people's spring and summer 2025 swimsuit collections, and some people are releasing some very beautiful swimsuits. But it kind of made me think, oh wow, I wish the materials that they're using to make these swimsuits like was available as a yarn, or maybe they are and they're just not available at Joann's. I may have to go to more high-end specialty yarn stores to get yarn so beautiful to make silky smooth and shiny bikinis or swimsuit dresses. I guess they would be monokini dresses. I'm not sure. Oh, it would be so fun to make a swimsuit line for the summer. There I go, thinking of ideas. Just full of ideas. But you know what? There was a time in my life where I felt like I could not think of any ideas. Like, I just did not know what to do, and that I could not figure it out. And that would make me feel stuck. Like, I wanted a blog for a long time, but I had nothing on my blog because I had no ideas of what to write. And it took me a long time to think of an idea and like start posting on my blog. So now I won't say I have too many ideas. I never feel boggled down with all the ideas that I have. I think ideas are fun, but I've definitely grown out of the hump of not having any ideas. Okay. Here we go. We've got our 4 purple rows. Okay. Let me try to back up hat a little bit. I wish I had my mannequin head up here. Then it would be easier to see the shape of the hat. Doesn't help that my laptop is making the surface unlevel. But it kind of looks like a kufi. Like right now it does. But I don't have a ruler in here right now, so I can't even like do a measurement to see how many inches. 3. Well, this is really 4 rows, so let's see. 4 rows is about the length of my finger. So my finger is about 3 inches long. So if I do another, I don't know, 4 rows, then that'll make a 6-inch brim. I mean, not 6-inch brim, that'll make a 6-inch side. And I think that would be appropriate for the look, because the next color would be black. So we do 3 rows of black granny stitch, and then we would do 1 row of white, and then we will make another whip stitch seam like this to make but we'll do it in the front loop because we're making a brim, and then we'll finish whipping out to make our brim. So having a purple and black band would look really cute, especially because this is for the ravens. The shape of our hat is looking pretty nice. So once this stream is over, I'm going to take notes on what we did, because one thing about writing patterns, making patterns, is you have to write down every single thing you did, so that when you want to sell or reference your pattern again, you know what you did. Like there's no confusion, there's no missing information. So this is as far as we're going to go tonight. We've done half of our side crown, and part 3 may be us making the brim. So thank you so much for tuning in. Really quickly, I gotta do my businesswoman stuff and show you that this is the link to my pattern on my Etsy shop. You may not want to buy this pattern, but I'm going to post other patterns on my shop in the future, and I'll post crochet goods that you can just buy like as is. So definitely check out my shop on Etsy. It's KayMarieFashion. Thank you so much for watching, and